Hi, this is Wishop, and this is your weekly reading from July 6th, Monday, through July 12th, which is Sunday. I'm not going to go too much into the astrology this week. I guess I'm just kind of not feeling it, so I always try to go with that. I am a little bit interested in the moon right now, which is in Pisces, at 2 degrees as I'm doing this, which is Sunday. And we have the Sun and Mars both in Cancer, another water sign, and very home and family oriented. The moon is in Pisces, which is a very intuitive, very emotionally sensitive sign, and I feel like that's playing in with the I Ching this week. And then Venus and Jupiter are both in Leo together. And I talked a lot about that last week, so I won't go too much more into that. But Leo can be a very creative sign. It can be a very outwardly manifesting sign. So what I kind of see this week is that the internal emotional expressions of relationships in home and family and history are creating changes in your life. They're helping to complete cycles. They're revising the way that you think about yourself and the way you think about what you'd like to do going forward. So let's start with the I Ching this week. Rolling the dice, I got Wind over Fire, which is number 37, which in this oracle is called the family. And let me hold this up so you can see the words. Heredity, blood bonds, kindred spirits, ancestry, home life, community, intimate relationships, our human family. So what's happening here in the family, as I see it, is related to the astrology as well. You're going to be examining your deep relationships, those of blood and also those of choice. And I think because the moon is in Pisces, there may be some interesting things coming to the surface. So it might be feelings you would like to express, feelings you want to share about how you took things, or it may also be the idea that you have secrets in the family or in these relationships which come forward. So it could be someone sharing with you, it could be you sharing with them. But what's going to happen as a result of this, I think, is that you're going to reevaluate the way you were looking at things. This hexagram, traditionally, if you look at other versions of the I Ching for this hexagram, it's related a lot to family roles, fathers, mothers, sons, daughters, husbands, wives, that kind of thing. So what it can mean is that you're being cast in a role that doesn't suit you, that doesn't fit anymore, or that you have cast a situation with your nearest relationships in a way that may not be correct or may not be workable anymore. And so the moon in Pisces is going to help bring up that stuff, both within you and within other people, so that you can have a sharing. And because the number 37 adds up to 10, which is a cycle, I think this new understanding or this revelation or this deep sharing is actually going to close the book on something that might have been an open issue for you, even a vexing or difficult issue. But it's going to bring something up that's going to allow you to put something to bed, if that makes any sense. So this week I am introducing the Whimsical Tarot, which is not a new tarot deck, but it's again new to me. It's illustrated by Mary Hanson Roberts, who's done another very popular tarot deck, and this is created by Dorothy Morrison. And so the framework of the Whimsical Tarot is very much taking children's stories and fairy tale stories as a way to introduce the concepts of the tarot. And in fact, the book is written as like a guidebook to help introducing children to the kind of concepts that are coming out through here. Anyway, it's a very gentle deck, and I think all the additional fairy tale stories and nursery rhymes and relationships like that add a lot of richness to the reading. So let's find out what we get for the week. Okay. First one. Oh, there we go. I gotta tell you, I haven't had this deck long, but this is not the first time I'm seeing this guy and in this position. Here we go. Okay. And last but not least. Okay. All right, so I will look in the book just to give you a little more background, because I think these are sort of thoughtfully done. But at first glance, we have the Knight of Rods, which is Jack be nimble. If you know the rhyme, Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Jack jumped over a candlestick. So this Jack is in the upright position, would be easily catapulting the candlestick. In the reverse position, it looks more like he might get burned, which is a funny way to think of that Knight of Wands, Knight of Rods type energy. In the center, we have the Four of Rods, which is often thought of as a card of homecoming. I certainly think of it that way. It can be celebrations, family celebrations, and homecoming. And sort of here's the castle, right? The home is the castle. And so this very much is echoing that theme of home and family. Your home, of course, can be the physical structure. Oh no, I don't want that. So I'm going to hang that up and I'm going to see if I can mute it. Oh, I've had a ding, I've had the phone on. Oh, I don't see where to mute it. So this person could call back, and I'm sorry for that, but I'm just going to keep going on. The Four of Rods can mean your physical home, so it can be your structures that you live in. It can be your stuff, the stuff that makes it feel like home, which can include your, your favorite slippers or your teacup, that kind of thing. So that can be the stuff that we're talking about. But quite often, and I think because of all the watery energy this week, it really means your emotional home, the relationships, the ones that you've made by choice and the ones that you showed up with. So they can be blood relationships, they can be adoptive relationships, foster relationships, friend relationships, really anything, but the things dearest to your heart. So the Eight of Pentacles is often a sign for work. And in this one, rather than seeing sort of an artisan at work, we see a person at study. So I'm going to look up who they mean by this Eight of Pentacles. See if we can figure out what character this is. And, oh, okay. The Sorcerer's Apprentice. Interesting. So the Sorcerer's Apprentice was ambitious. And so here we see this student soaking up the spells while his master is asleep. And so this is the need to pay attention to what's happening this week and to soak it up, because these revelations, especially coming from the moon in Pisces, could be coming in kind of indirect ways. They might be conversations that they have, but because it's a very heartfelt and intuitive energy, it could be the bubbling of intuition about long time situations. So this is going to be the need to take in that information or take in that feeling and think about it and ponder it. Excuse me, what is all the noise? To take it in and to ponder it as you move forward. So I'm going to look up the Four of Rods as well, just to see what story we're specifically talking about here. And this one is, oh, it's just a fairy tale castle. Well, good. That's kind of what I see as a fairy tale castle. And I explained the Knight of Rods. So we have a situation where I think you are going to be called to some kind of homecoming. And the homecoming can be an emotional one or a physical one. I'm actually making travel to see family this week. And the urging is not to be too hasty, like the Knight of Rods, with assumptions or with deciding you know how things are going to turn out, because you don't. Because these sort of secret revelations could be surprising, and they could give you a lot to think about, like the Eight of Pentacles. They could give you a lot to work with in the future. So I think that's very interesting, and it kind of echoes the focal points of the astrology and the I Ching. So let's go on to the oracle card. For this week, I chose another of the Magician's postcards. And we'll just see what we get. I think magicians are great, of course, at making things that look present disappear and making disappeared things come back again. So I thought with the emergence of unseen influences or hidden things, it would be interesting to see what magicians would have to say about it. So, okay. So this is actually a postcard. Let me back it up a little bit. Hope you can see all this. I'm going to sort of go down the thing. Can you see? Okay, this postcard is in Russian. Do you see this? It's a Russian illustration for a magic show. And you can look at this, like you've got this orange and these green lines coming out, and it's very bold, and it's, you know, it's in your face in terms of the design. Okay. Upside down means it's not going to be in your face, but it's also not going to be in Russian to you. I'm saying this as an English speaker. You're going to understand what this means, but it's not going to be in your face. It's not going to be bold, okay? It's not going to be in a foreign language. It's going to be quietly whispered in your ear, into the ear of your intuition and your understanding, or it's going to be the result of a quiet conversation, conversations among one or two, not many. So even if you're going home, you know, Four of Rods says, even if you're going home or perhaps to a wedding or a family event, something like that, you will not be getting these revelations in a splashy way. It's going to be very much on the down low, and then you're going to figure out what you want to do with it. But I do think it signals that it's going to end some kind of cycle of a way you understood things, or a way you understood yourself, or the way you understood your role or someone else's within this relationship. And that should be very interesting. So I hope you have a great week. And as always, you simply have got to rock on. Bye.